Hi, I'm Sage Basri and I am a senior at Rumson Fairhaven Regional High School in New Jersey. Today, I'm going to talk about biodiversity. Biodiversity is important both within ecosystems and within genes of species. Every species in an ecosystem has an important role to play in making the ecosystem more productive and resilient in the event of disaster. The research I will discuss was performed at CU Boulder with the mentorship of a graduate student, Emily Fairfax. My research analyzes the role of beaver in establishing wetland ecosystems and how they contribute to biodiversity. The research performed verifies claims made by other environmental researchers that beaver are a keystone species and ecosystem engineers. Keystone species, by definition, are organisms on which ecosystems largely depend, and if they weren't there, the ecosystem would change drastically. Ecosystem engineers are organisms that create or modify habitat, and beaver obviously modify the landscape by building dams across streams or rivers. My research analyzes beaver dams at 3 sites along Boulder Creek in Boulder, Colorado, and compares the dammed sites to undammed upstream sites. My observations from field visits have led me to conclude that beaver are instrumental in the creation of wetland ecosystems, as the wetland ecosystems result from damming, which creates a pond that becomes a habitat for various species. The ponding makes the flow of water slow down and pool up, allowing some of the stream water to percolate into soil, which supports plant life. Also, the stream and river water are rich in nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen, which settles out of the water when it slows down and forms a nutrient-rich sediment at the bottom of the pond. On field visits, I saw large trees growing straight out of the water because the sediment made such good soil, which was amazing because I've never seen that before. To support my findings from field visits, I used Landsat 8 technology via Google Earth Engine to quantify the amount of photosynthesis surrounding beaver dams along the South Fork of the Kern River in Sequoia National Forest, California. My results were fascinating, showing very unproductive desert conditions adjacent to some highly productive greenery near beaver dams. Before I'd begun researching, I did not realize the breadth of resources available to environmental researchers, like the Go Back in Time feature of Google Earth Pro that allowed me to look at various damming sites in Sequoia National Forest before the dams were there to verify that 1. The beaver came before the vegetation, and 2. That the ecosystems created were not exotic, but had been wiped out because the area became more arid due to climate change. I also did not know that there was technology available for free that allows anyone to quantify a region's photosynthesis and the health of the vegetation, which brings me to why my research is important. My research is valuable because climate change is a very real impending threat. With the average global temperature rising year after year, it is important to realize the danger in species extinction. Diverse ecosystems are crucial to making sure wildlife is able to adapt to the environmental changes before it is too late. My research concludes that the impact of beaver persists even after they leave the damming site, as they create beaver meadows and the vegetation thrives long after beaver leave because the pond sediment turns into very nutritious soil to support plant growth. Beaver are very important to maintaining a region's biodiversity because they single-handedly manufacture habitat in which other organisms flourish. Temperate regions that lack biodiversity may consider reintroducing beaver to promote biodiversity, which is crucial for declining ecosystems. You can make a positive impact on biodiversity by supporting keystone species, especially ones local to where you live. Bees are another keystone species, and you can support them by planting more flowers and eliminating use of pesticides. You can also reduce use of synthetic fertilizer, which runs off into our waterways, causing algal blooms that take oxygen out of the water and cause marine species to die. Along the same lines, you should also buy organic foods that are grown without synthetic fertilizers and pesticides and eat sustainably harvested seafood. Fishing operations often catch non-target organisms unintentionally, and trawlers can destroy seafloor habitats. In these ways, you can make a personal impact on biodiversity both locally and globally. You can remember causes of species extinction by memorizing HIPCO: habitat loss, invasive species, pollution, climate change, and overharvesting. When you contemplate buying organic strawberries versus GMO strawberries, remember HIPCO, and that the GMO strawberries are grown with herbicides that pollute our waterways. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.